Yeah, you do see that quite a bit. And oftentimes when you hear these booms, people think, one, was that a meteorite? Was that an earthquake? Or was it an aircraft? And that's usually where these sonic boom sounds come from. Something else, Tim, today, and I almost forgot about this, and I had to bring this up. I'm sure Tony Rice would have sent this out if he would have thought about it. So today in Charlotte, at least, I don't know for you guys, it's equinox. And so I said that word, and people were like, what the heck is that? Today was equal day and night in Charlotte. It actually does not happen on the equinox, which is on March 20th. That's the vernal equinox, which is supposed to be equal day and night. It's actually today for us, 12 hours and 1 minute of daylight. So this is the closest we get until September again. And I always think this is kind of cool because this has a lot to do with the time zones and the bending of light and the curvature and through the atmosphere. But today for us, at least, Tim, was equal day and night. So technically, we're going to have more daylight today than we did yesterday and for the rest of the year until September.
Yeah, pretty nice to see, isn't it? And for us, we're kind of, I guess we missed it here in Greensboro yesterday. We were about 53 seconds within equilux, and then today we're more like 75 seconds within the 12-hour daylight. So in any case, pretty close for our area. We've got a 7:26 sunrise and a 7:28 sunset, but it's only up from here. And it's always interesting how it does lag or, precede at least the equinox. It's not totally perfect, and it's not a perfect orbit. It's more elliptical and all these other things that factor into the same things we talk about, the confusing nature about how come your sunrise can keep expanding but the sunrise isn't. There's that lag around the solstice as well. The time can be a funny thing as well.
And it really kind of shows we're not a perfectly symmetrical Earth. There's actually bulges in the planet as well. And the other thing that I always saw is fascinating. I really didn't think about this till someone pointed out to me. We measure sunrise and sunset differently, Tim, right? Sunrise is when the top of the solar disk comes over the horizon, but we don't call sunset when the bottom hits the horizon. We wait till the complete disk is below the horizon. So the time that it takes for the disk to go down, there's a little offset between sunrise and sunset. So that can cause a little time difference because we measure them differently.
That's fascinating. I've never really thought about that before, but it makes perfect sense. So it's probably not the perfect way to do it. You should do like 50% or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like when the disk is like halfway intersected by the horizon. So it is a weird thing. And time is weird. It's a construct, right? We just make it up.
Time is a construct.
That's a whole nother show. But that's all we have time for tonight, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Stay warm out there. More WCNC Plus coming up after the break.
Hi, folks. Thanks so much for joining us here for Live Impact News. I'm Vanessa Rufus, so we'll be together for the next couple of hours. I want to pivot right now over to a live feed that we've been watching over the last several moments. This is the Mecklenburg County Commissioners meeting. Looks like they've got a public appearance right now with the Sheriff of Mecklenburg County, Gary McFadden. Let's listen in right now and see where we are in the agenda.
Nursing Home Community Advisory Committee for three-year terms expiring February 28, 2029. Kimberly Anderson, Benita Mason, and Regina Tisdale are eligible for reappointment.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Moved and seconded. Any questions, discussion?
I want to make a comment.
Yes, Commissioner Lee.
To this community, that we are in need of supporters of those who volunteer their time for our sick and shut-in who happens to find themselves not at home but in nursing homes. And for these people to ask for extended time to serve, we would hope that others in this community would volunteer, because we never know what the future holds for any of us as we live and gain age. Some people resent the fact that you live a long time and complain about you being old age. But we need young people and people to come in and to support and make sure that those who are older and find themselves without families, someone who cares about them and will help take care of them. So please consider to volunteer. Young men or young women, it doesn't matter, or senior persons who find themselves wanting to donate some time. So that's important to this community. But I have people who in this community do not appreciate those of us who live a long time. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All three are appointed. Next is the 2027 Citizens Revaluation Advisory Committee. So nominations or appointments are needed on the 2027 Citizens Revaluation Advisory Committee to fill 9 slots. Just a quick note, this committee will serve from March through December 31st, 2026. The committee is appointed a year prior to a county-wide reappraisal. The committee is charged with meeting with the county assessor, management, and staff to review overall operations, studying statistical reports on the progress of the 2027 revaluation, monitoring progress, and reporting its conclusions to the Board of County Commissioners. We have 9 slots, and we have 9 applicants.
So move. Second.
It's moved and seconded. I know we have questions. Let me start with Commissioner Meyer.
Are we going to move and for all of them?
We can make a motion. Is the motion to
All
nominate
9.
and appoint?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Dunlap.
Did I misunderstand? Are these people not supposed to be interviewed before they are appointed? Is this not one of process?
I don't have that. I don't think so.
You're right.
I'll
We do interview this group.
They have to be interviewed.
You're correct. I'm sorry, you are correct. They do have to be interviewed.
So let's do this. Can you withdraw the nomination, your motion, Commissioner Lee, for just a second? Because we can't appoint, we can't nominate and appoint, so your motion was to nominate and appoint. Can you withdraw that for a second?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. So that is off the table. So then we need to go through the full nomination.
So she can nominate them, they just can't be appointed.
Right.
And now you must have an interview committee to interview them.
So give me 1 second. The motion, though, was to nominate and appoint.
That
So
was
that's why
my
I was asking
motion.
her to withdraw that.
I know what my
So
motion
that
is.
now we can, you're right, that's your motion. So now, let me take the nominations. Because are we saying we're going to interview all 9? Is that?
That's my motion.
You can't do that, that's what I'm saying.
Hold on 1 second, Commissioner.
You
What-
can. And
you
if we
can-
vote to do it.
All right.
Can't tell me what we can do.
This is what happened. When we took the.
Not you
when we
personally,
took-
I'm talking about
No,
the
you're fine.
policy.
You're fine, but let me just make sure that
Thank
we're
you.
all clear so that the minutes are
Denies people to
reflected
serve.
correctly. Your motion was to nominate and appoint, which we were all under this understanding that we could do that until it was raised that we have to interview.
Correct.
So my ask was for you to withdraw that because your motion said nominate and appoint. We have to nominate, and then we have to go through an interview
Follow
process.
the policy.
So that's all I was saying. So with that being said, let me do this. You had a question, Commissioner Townsend Ingram?
So there is right now, and I don't know if it's been passed, where it has been introduced in North Carolina General Assembly that they're going to have a moratorium on revaluations for North Carolina, property tax evaluations.
Can't hear you. What are you saying?
It is being proposed by the majority leader in the North Carolina General Assembly that there is a moratorium on property tax revaluations. So is there an appetite for ensuring that there is somebody with the expertise within those that are selected that has some kind of legal background or something of that nature? I just want to bring it up and lift that up.
So that committee, in my understanding, is meeting at the General Assembly tomorrow. And so with respect to the way we do this normal committee that's appointed, I think that's a great point. We have the information on the skill set, but when we interview, we can drill down, we can shape those, whoever I appoint as the committee chair can shape whatever questions that this board deems appropriate to be able to address whatever those concerns are. So thank you for raising that. I plan to tune in tomorrow to that meeting. Madam Clerk.
So we're looking at the policy, and it is not specified in the policy, although I do recall that we have done those in the past, but they are not part.
It's not policy. Okay, so we'll take that up. Let's just see,
Okay.
because it sounds like there's an appetite to interview. So let's figure that out. Let me come.
All right, folks, we're going to transition away for just a moment from this Mecklenburg County Board of Commissioners meeting. We'll likely dip back into this in just a few minutes after we wrap up our conversation that is coming up right now. So there's an event happening in Charlotte that we wanted to share with folks, kind of give a preview what you can expect to learn. And this is hopefully going to be very insightful for folks who take part, ask questions of folks who are part of this panel. So this is coming up next week on Wednesday. It starts at 6:30. It's called The Black Experience, Leadership, Palestine, and Truth-Telling. And we have a couple folks from this panel joining us here in the Live Impact News studio to give us an idea of what folks can expect from this event. We have the Reverend Dr. Paul McAllister joining us, and we also have Jabril Huff. And both of y'all will be part of this panel. But it sounds like there will be other folks as well, and there will be multiple ideologies represented. Tell us a bit about this event. We understand this is actually a part 2 of a prior event that happened back in February. What can folks expect from next week's event?
You can start. Well, what they can expect is honest conversation based on lived experience, based on our historical understandings, and also based on some academic learnings that we have had the opportunity to have. Given the fact that we have such a diverse and inclusive interfaith panel, I think they can anticipate a wide array of topics that are being presented, and also be able to ask several questions. If they have questions about what is happening in the Middle East, what is happening in Gaza, what is happening with the state of Israel, and what our collective response as an interfaith community might be.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like here on the news side, we have these headlines so frequently, and folks have probably been hearing stories of what's going on in the Middle East, for months and months at a certain type of, I guess, rate, if you will. But it's a really convoluted and complicated history to kind of wrap your arms around and really understand what's happening. Is this something that you hope folks come away with a better context of things that are happening in current events today, and maybe folks can better pick how they feel about certain things, or maybe how they should contextualize certain things that are happening in the world right now?
Yes, I think this is something unique for Charlotte. You don't oftentimes get a chance to have interfaith discussion in a church such as this, to have honest conversations. A lot of times when we get together as interfaith congregations or whatnot, people like to hold hands and sing Kumbaya and not really speak to what's going on in the world. And we want to have those honest conversations. Sometimes these conversations are not easy to have, but we want to have those conversations, and not just us speaking to the people that come. We want the people that come speak to us. And sometimes it might not be easy to digest what someone says, but I think it's necessary. If we are to build something that's going to last, we have to have honest conversations.
And you say, something that's not easy to digest. You suspect that some folks who maybe come might feel a little uncomfortable, maybe with some of the answers that they get, or maybe some of the topics that are just discussed?
Yes, that's very possible. We must get out of our comfort zones if we are going to grow and develop and learn and find out really what's going on in the world outside of us. When you talk about historic struggles, and we're connecting the black experience to the Palestinian experience, it was Nelson Mandela who saw what was going on in Palestine and said the apartheid in South Africa was connected to what the apartheid in Palestine, what Israel is doing to Palestinians. Malcolm X, who many revere, called Israel out for its colonial occupation and apartheid actions against the Palestinians. So, we can't homogenize these people and act like we follow them and we're going to negate what they said.
Well, and I mean, you pointed out the fact that you'll have multiple backgrounds, multiple ideologies represented on this panel. We know you're with the Islamic Center of Charlotte, and Reverend, you're with the Global Leaders in Unity and Evolvement. Mm-hmm. And so we know also, though, there will be a rabbi, Dr. Barry Trachtenberg, as well as Layla El-Ali with the Charlotte United for Palestine group. Mm-hmm. So what is your hope by having so many different ideological backgrounds represented on this panel?
Our hope is people will understand and see that it's possible for people of different faiths and different persuasions to come together to work for what is right and what is just. This is not a religious battle that we are in, even though we may represent different religions. It's more political a lot of times than it is religious, but people will use religion, a piece of religion, and make a political fight for it. So it's very possible for us to come together and work for equality and justice and freedom for everyone, not just someone or some group.
Now, we mentioned this is a part 2. There was a part 1 that happened back in February, which was called Beyond Weaponization, Black History, Christian and Muslim Solidarity in Palestine. So this seemingly kind of kicked off this multi-part series that y'all are doing. How did that event go? What was the, focus of the topics presented in this one, and how do you think it went?
Well, we had several imams in the conversation, as well as another scholar named Hadi Mubarak. And I think that conversation went extraordinarily well. In fact, it went so well we realized that it would probably be beneficial to have a part 2, because we wanted to include a broader audience. So I would say that in that conversation, we were able to prime our audience and get a sense of how the conversation would flow, and that would open the door for additional conversations. What we wanted to have in the first conversation was a Jewish member on the panel, and because that did not occur because of some logistical issues we had, we realized it would be more important for us to have part 2 and make sure that we had representation from the Jewish community as well.
Yeah. And you said, before we came on the air, that you really hope folks show up and ask questions. How is the format of this event? Is it, the panelists making addresses and then people ask questions? Do you just kind of come right out the gate, ask us questions, and we answer them? And what's the format look like?
Yeah. Well, we're planning to make maybe a 3-minute opening statement, each panelist, and then open it up for Q&A. And for, like I said, that's where the meat of the matter is. It's not for people to come and just hear us speak, even though we have something to share. We want to hear from the people, and we want to get somewhere. They may come. Some people may come with opposing views, and sometimes that's necessary, to get to a better place. But yeah, we want to hear from them.
Mm-hmm. What we want to do is we want folks to come away from this experience enriched. I think that would be the operative word. Enriching the lives of those who are present, as well as enriching our community to see that we can have these dangerous dialogues, some might call them, or critical or crucial conversations, and not poke holes at each other, but focus on the issues. Now, the topic for part 2 is the Black experience. And so part of what we're going to really home in on, Vanessa, is to make sure that we highlight how African Americans, irrespective as to what their religious background might be, have contributed to the whole, meaning what is our experience in the course of this entire dialogue, going back to the days of W.E.B. Du Bois, and then even the 1960s and the Civil Rights Movement with Dr. King and Ralph Abernathy, Andy Young, and then SNCC, because these individuals and groups at various points in times in history have had different perspectives. So we want to educate, enrich, enliven, and hopefully further this conversation as we move forward together.
So how do you, I guess, weave the Black experience through all these ideologies when you have these panels? Like, what, I know you kind of talked about going through the history, but I guess what do you hope folks will learn, will come away with as far as like your message here?
Well, I've been to Israel, Palestine several times, and to be very blunt with you, I've encountered some very critical, dangerous situations. I hope they come away with, I hope we are able to alleviate some of the fear. There's a lot of tension in the atmosphere right now because of the war that we are engaged in with Iran. We don't want folk to feel that we can be overcome by these tensions simply because we feel we may not have a direct voice in some of the decisions that are being made by our administration and some of the decisions that have been made by foreign governments. So we want folks to feel comfortable, but at the same time welcomed in the environment that we're in, which is Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, a very welcoming congregation led by Pastor Clifford Jones. But we also hope that our community at Friendship will help to provide some sense of security and peace, and disarm some of these tensions that we know are present, that we live with, and that we're finding it very difficult to eradicate and alleviate.
Well, I guess in the sense of, you know, you mentioned the tensions and maybe how folks might be feeling right now. How important is it for people to see faith leaders come together like this?
Well, that's a good question. Faith leaders, certainly, we draw upon our faith, and I think this is very important. As a board member of MECMEN, which is Mecklenburg Interfaith Network, we realize that faith is important, but faith is not the be-all and the end-all. We don't necessarily feel that persons need to bring expertise in their faith, but just a commitment to their faith. And that commitment to faith leads us, hopefully, to a commitment to each other. And that commitment to each other, in many ways, can supersede some of the articulations of faith.
Yeah. And I saw you.
I agree. Looking back, a lot of times in these interfaith circles, sometimes people are so religious, and I don't really want to give them credit for being too religious, but what I'm trying to say is sometimes people are so caught up in trying to be their religion that they don't practice principles of their own faith. Sometimes you find people who are not, quote unquote, as religious, but they're more Christian, more Jewish, more Muslim than people who claim to lead when they're not willing to deal with issues of justice and freedom for all, and sometimes controversy. They want to be too nice with people and maybe afraid to lose some kind of friendship because they know if they step out on this principle, which is just, it might cause them to lose some kind of connection or friendship. That's where we want to go. That's where we want to move to people.
Yeah. I mean, do you give folks advice on maybe how to broach difficult conversations with people in their circle or family or whatnot?
It's very easy. Just be real. Do what God puts on your heart. if you listen to your heart and what God puts on your heart, believe me, your mistakes will be few, and your sleep on your bed at night will be comfortable. You will be able to rest because you are doing what God puts on your heart, and you're not going by what someone else says or worrying about what else somebody else may think or say.
There's a passage in the Old Testament of the Bible, or the Hebrew Scriptures, that says, the just shall live by faith. And we walk by faith and not by sight. Often we are caught up in the things that we see, but the things that are eternal, immortal, that are long-lasting, that outlive us, are unseen. And so as we draw upon our instincts, as we draw upon our faiths, and I'll give you an example since we're sitting here with you, we're both adorning our keffiyehs. Sometimes I like to wear it and sometimes I don't, and I try to be very judicious. But today felt like the opportune moment. And when I arrived in the studio, I saw Jabril, and he was already adorned and sitting there waiting for me, and now I feel like I have a twin. So following our instincts and living by our faith, I think, is so essential to sending the right messages at the right moment.
I think in general, too, it's just really interesting to learn about different cultures and different religions as well. And I think sometimes the more you learn about other religions and cultures, you realize how many similarities there are.
Yeah, Dr. Cornel West has a saying he likes to say, justice is what love looks like in public.
Yes.
And I would say the same thing is justice in your faith is what your faith looks like in public.
Is there anything that you want to add? I know we've touched on so many things. I want to make sure that we're giving everybody what they need about the event, or just in general. I mean, do you have reflections on just how things are going right now? I know
I'm very sick. The feeling you get in your gut when you lose a loved one or something very tragic happens. I've had that feeling since the genocide started in Gaza. But a few weeks ago when Trump and Israel started bombing Iran, I got it again. And it's just a sick feeling that we have leaders in this world who do not value human life. They do not care at all about human life. They don't care about the school children, slaughtering the school children. They don't care about these things. And at best, you might hear them make an excuse for it. And we're just living in times that, it could be, it could be described as some of the end of times. I'm not one to, predict when the hour is going to be. Only God knows that. But at the rate we're going, we're living in a mad world right now, and it takes a lot of faith just to hold on and keep your head up, because there is a lot of killing, a lot of death. But on the other side, there's a lot of people waking up. There's a lot of people waking up now in this moment and being enlightened. But the people in power are not changing, and that's the downside of what we're seeing. The people in power are chaotic. They're ruthless. They're thugs.
One of the things I think that struck me was the incident in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan, most recently with the Muslim gentleman driving into a synagogue or a school where Jewish children were, because he suffered a tragic loss in his own family. I think we need to help each other deal with our own tragedies and practice a greater sense of empathy than perhaps what we are accustomed to. And that means stretching, that means reaching beyond the norm. And I believe we can do that. This conversation is about that. Our venues, Al Noor Community Center, Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, are settings where these ideals and practices are highly encouraged. We're not asking for persons to abandon what they think and what they're committed to. We're challenging one another to listen and to have a heart, if you will, and to practice that kind of empathy that is expressed in all of the Abrahamic faiths, indeed in most of the great religions of the world. This is why we're having this in the context of faith, but we're also bringing scholarship and history and lived experiences. I talked about having been in Palestine and some of the events and tragedies and life-threatening situations that I encountered while I was there. These are not things that leave one when you've encountered them. They stay with you, and they demand that we do something about it. So this is our way, in response to the PBS docuseries, Black and Jewish America and Interwoven History. This is our way of saying to Charlotte, let's include everyone in the conversation and leave out absolutely no one.
I think about, when you talk about empathy, how I see a lot of folks lately, seemingly more and more than I've been seeing before, online talking about village and like what it means to be a good villager or, essentially neighbor. Because I think there's a lot of, isolation that we can, sometimes feel in our current society. If, you're not making the efforts to outreach to your neighbor or even know your neighbor or connect with folks, it can be really easy to just build yourself a little silo. And that can be difficult maybe to retain your empathy, maybe if you're not working on it a little bit harder than maybe we had to in the past when society was structured a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And dangerous for someone who lives in a silo and never wants to get out of their box. They can sit there and let things fester and let misconceptions get to them. And then they go to the grocery store one day or they go out one day and they see a sister in a hijab or someone who appears to be Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden they want to take all those frustrations out, that are not justified on that person because they've been in that silo and they fed into that fear and ignorance in their own silo without getting out and getting to know their neighbor. Mm-hmm. And they find out, like we said earlier, at the end of the day, most of us have the same principles that we live by. We may have, of course, we have differences in our belief, but our principles and how we live our lives and what we want for ourselves, our children, are the same.
Absolutely.
And nobody around the world, let's make this clear, nobody in any corner of the world hates us for our freedom. Let's do not repeat that lie that the warmongers like. They may hate us because they don't have freedom, and we have something to do with it, because we went and took over the country and installed a dictator or whatever, and that dictator suppresses them. But no one hates us for our freedom. People are dying to get to America. They love our way of life and whatnot, but what they don't love is when we go bomb them and kill innocent people for no reason. For when they haven't attacked us, we go preemptively strike them. That's what they don't like. They don't like living under our bombs and the oppression that we sometimes give to them. So, yeah.
What doth the Lord, King James Version of the Hebrew Scriptures of the Bible, what does the Lord require of us? Do justice. Do it. Love mercy. Walk humbly. When we do that, we are better for it. And it doesn't have to be constrained or confined to the dictates and the mores and the doctrines of any particular faith. It's just a matter of looking at our neighbor and saying, I see you. I acknowledge your humanity. That's a big part of the challenge that we have, to be honest. When we look back at history, there are certain stages at which persons, for whatever reasons, have decided that their dignity, their humanity, supersedes that of another. That ideology is why we're in the conflict and the mess that we're in. And we're trying to say, starting with this little small step, we can do better right here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And this step again, and I'm not exaggerating, this conversation at Friendship Missionary Baptist Church is one that is a historic conversation. These conversations have been had in smaller circles, but not in a big church, open to all. So please if you're out there, take advantage of this opportunity, because this is something that I wanted the interfaith community to do for a long time. And it seems like I said, people don't want to speak on stuff that may be controversial or where there may be a disagreement. We can't live like that, because we can't grow and we can't really build, we can't really have meaningful relationships if we're afraid. If I have something on my face and you're afraid to tell me about it because you might hurt my feelings, but you're helping me by telling me that, then I want you to tell me about it so I can fix it. You know?
One thing, if I may. Our other two panelists, Layla L. Ali is a wonderful activist here in the community of Charlotte, and Dr. Barry Trachtenberg. He's actually the Rubin Chair at Wake Forest University in the Center of the Holocaust and Jewish Studies. So he's not a rabbi, but he is a scholar, and these two individuals have helped us to put this program together, and we're very proud to be able to have this conversation with you. As we leave here, I'm probably going to stop by his house and go by the Funksonium, which is his attic with all of his personal memorabilia over the years.
You're welcome. I got a few new pieces since you've been there last time.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, once again, folks, the event is called The Black Experience, Leadership, Palestine, and Truth-Telling. It is next week, Wednesday, correct?
Yes.
6:30 to 8, and as y'all have mentioned, this is at the Social Justice Ministry of Friendship Missionary Baptist Church presenting this event. So
thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We appreciate it. All right, folks, here on Live Impact News, we'll take a quick 2-minute break. We'll be back with more on the other side. All right, thanks so much for sticking with us here on Live Impact News. We're going to turn back to our live feed we're watching of the Mecklenburg County Board of Commissioner meeting. This is, we're on the item agenda that is Small Business and Entrepreneurship Board Update. So let's go ahead and listen in right now. I do believe the county manager is giving a report.
Thank you, sir. And good evening, Chairman, Vice Chairman, County Manager, and the board members. My name is Kevin Nixon, and I'm the current chair to the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Advisory Board, and I'm here to present our fiscal year priorities. These have been shaped directly from the community feedback and grounded in what small businesses across Mecklenburg County are experiencing today. Our board works in alignment with the Office of Economic Development to provide strategic advisory insight, elevate community voice, and support the county's efforts to strengthen and grow the small business ecosystem. And these are a set of actionable recommendations designed to strengthen access, expand opportunity, and protect the businesses that drive our local economy. Okay, here we go. So the board now have identified 5 key priorities from our community feedback. Number 1 would be to strengthen the awareness of small business services and programs. 2, to expand those pathways and communication channels for informal contracting opportunities in the construction and services sector. Number 3 is to strengthen local business ecosystem connections. 4, to secure dedicated funding for outreach and workshops to elevate key economic development initiatives. And 5, it would be to monitor and advise on small business trends and needs. So to do this, we wanted to strengthen awareness of small business services and programs. We could do that by reinforcing the board's ongoing initiatives around economic development and community engagement. We propose elevating the communication strategy for our small business services and programs by increasing digital marketing, support outreach initiatives, highlight those success stories, and establish successful communication partnerships with organizations such as Climb and Prospera. Further recommendations, the workshops tailored to municipal needs. Funding to support Mecklenburg County. Office of Economic Development-led workshops designed around each municipality's priorities, including remote drop-in sites that make it easier for small business owners to access guidance and resources. We'd like to spread the awareness of the Office of Economic Development and Charlotte Business Inclusion Resource Programs, plan initiatives for Small Business Month and Economic Development Week, countywide staff support for direct engagement, resources to enable staff to travel across the county, strengthen township connections, and expand boots on the ground outreach, such as door-to-door check-ins with the Main Street businesses to increase awareness availability for the small business services. Next, we'd like to expand and communicate channels for informal contracting opportunities in the construction and services sector. So the recommendations are as follows from the board. We like to standardize the invitation process, reduce reliance on individual lists, and ensure consistent access for all eligible vendors, develop mentorship or team programs, pair primes with emerging small firms for guidance on project expectations, quality standards in business development, and provide information on subcontracting opportunities with primes and encourage those relationships. To strengthen the local business ecosystem connections, we encourage collaboration and partnership with local organizations, connect new businesses with organizations such as SCORE and the Women's Business Center, establish cross-sector partnerships with higher education institutions to connect students in entrepreneurships and business programs, network through chambers to have access to closed pre-bid meetings on micro purchases and contracts that are not available to the public. Have businesses register as a vendor with local agencies and also in MEC Procure. Support local programs that elevate small businesses, such as Shop Small, Economic Development Week, Small Business Month. Promote the local events, such as the street festivals. Public art installations can motivate customers to shop locally with small businesses. To secure dedicated funding for outreach and workshops to elevate key initiatives, our recommendations are facilitator fees for high-demand business topics, funding to secure expert facilitators for workshops on critical subjects like AI readiness, e-commerce, QuickBooks, and cybersecurity, ensuring small businesses receive timely and relevant training. We like to monitor and advise on small business trends and needs, proactive small business protection framework, proactive risk identification, like flag regulatory and zoning shifts that threaten displacement, such as NOTA street vending changes, the economic impact conversations, quantify corridor level disruption through structured engagement with vendors and brick and mortar businesses, formal advisory leadership, deliver policy recommendations to county leadership to prevent unintended displacement. So to monitor and advise on small business trends and needs, stabilization and anti-displacement strategy, advance Project BOAST, ensure infrastructure and policy decisions strengthen, not destabilize business ecosystems. We like to deploy stabilization pathways, connect impacted entrepreneurs to permitting guidance, capital access, and ecosystem partnerships. Strengthen early intervention systems by monitoring emerging risks before corridor level disruption escalates. The small business needs from Project BOAST. How do we get there? Number one, business preservation and anti-gentrification. Number two, access to contracting opportunities. Number three, capacity building and technical assistance. 4, customer connections. 5, workplace and talent development. Small business needs, such as Project BOAST, business opportunity, and supportive transit. The BOAST project framework reflects the county's commitment to supporting new and existing small businesses as well as anti-displacement efforts. The vision is clear. Transportation investment should strengthen business communities, not displace them. Position small businesses to benefit from transportation improvements. Connect small, local businesses to the economic opportunities available. We want to protect existing small businesses from displacement by providing needed resources to assist them during the construction phases. And in conclusion, we just want to thank each of you for your time and continued support. My name is Kevin Nixon. Any questions?
Absolutely. I believe we'll have questions and comments, so thank you for that. Commissioner Townsend Ingram, then Commissioner Dunlap.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for your work that you put in on this and for the small business. That's one of my priorities, small business and entrepreneurship. And I just want to lift up, like I go to community meetings when it's when we have them. I went to one last evening, Jatanya Adams. I know you know her, of course. And we had a historic West End. I live in that district, in District 2, and we had a great meeting. And you know, to have it divided up into nodes to understand what the needs were for that specific area, and then they divided that up even further. For the businesses that are a part of that. Do you guys have that within, like, do you divide them up within either districts, county commission district, or within geographic areas? Because needs are going to be different based upon that.
At this time, we don't. We are just trying to get all the municipalities to work collaboratively with the Office of Economic Development. So we're still working on that.
Do you have a way of understanding and knowing, like, what's the best way the businesses that we have a relationship, how they best receive their information, how they consume their information, so that we can accomplish some of those recommendations?
Well, at this time, we currently have a tracking system that we're utilizing, but currently everything that you're hearing today is just from community feedback.
So, I mean, but to get them the information, is it a poll? Do they have to sign up, go in, sign up for it, or is it, do you have a relationship where you can push stuff out to them regularly?
Well, we're trying to push things outward,
Okay.
just to keep everyone aware of what's going on and the availability to them.
And just one last question. For those things that, the recommendations that you have, do you have an understanding, because we're right now in pre-budget season, do you have an understanding of what the needs are so that we can accomplish some of those recommendations?
No, that's a gap that we have identified, but we are working closely with the Office of Economic Development for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Commissioner Dunlap.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for your report. Thank you, Mr. Manager, for BOAST. I think it's going to help us tremendously as it relates to our businesses. You know, oftentimes we look for opportunities to partner with the city. And I'm sure that anybody who's been paying attention as of late understands that there is a problem with street vendors.
Yes, sir.
Street vendors are small business people. And so I am hoping that your group can partner with the city of Charlotte to figure out how they can be incorporated as a small business. Because I'm sure you're aware of the problems as that relates to. And the that right now, that's really my big concern, is that we don't just put small business in a pocket as if though it's a certain kind of small business, because vendors do fit into that category.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Griffin, then Commissioner Lee.
Thank you, Mr. Nixon, for your presentation. Certainly the services are extremely valuable. I was just trying to just put a framework about some of your comments in terms of what we're doing, and what you've articulated are valuable services in terms of advising or advisory, having some think tank capacity in terms of how to do things for maybe small businesses that may not know how to do things, maybe some piece of back office work, as well as policy work in terms of city, county, feds, et cetera. But at the end of the day, you're trying to make sure that small businesses are successful in terms of providing a service or a product for a fee. So, for a fee, for a profit, for making money at some point.
Yes.
And so what I'm trying to do is think through what you've just presented in like a framework or a dashboard in terms of here are the services we provided, the number of businesses that were thinking about, or people who are thinking about getting into business or in business, but what was the end result for the individuals or businesses? Did anything result in a business, number one, in terms of business creation? Or did some of the things that you advised, roadmaps, et cetera, that prevented displacement by the community's growth? So at the end of the day, what was the result of the advisory? And I know that you're just cranking up, but I'm saying, is your vision in the future to come back to say, here are the folks that we advised, here are the folk we provided back office services for, here are the folk that we prevented being displaced or losing business. If you were in business when they created, what do they call a train thing that went through Central at Hawthorne? What do you call it?
The goal line?
The goal line. If you were around doing the goal line in terms of helping those businesses survive, how many businesses are survive the goal line kind of piece. So you may not have a dashboard today, but is that somewhere in your vision?
It's absolutely a division. We currently have a tracking system that we're trying to keep up with the information that you need currently. Because we just started, we're just now getting rolling, and would just like everyone's support here as we continue to evolve the process with the board. We are a very small board, but we're very powerful and dedicated.
Yeah, I think it's very extraordinarily important. Several years ago, the University of Charlotte created some research, and they talked about small businesses, and one of the challenges and disadvantages is they didn't have this advisory that you are articulating. So you have a value. We just want to see what the end of it is down the road. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Leek, then Commissioner Powell.
Let me first say thank you for your efforts and your energy that you have to project a small business program. I started one maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and ended up with 400 and 500 people coming, and continued to push that process, but I did not because of some other problems. And I'm still in contact with over 1,000 people who contacted me about the process. So if possible, in that I was to some degree successful of generating the people to get it going from out of state and in state, that I can share with you some of the issues and some of the successes that I've had with it, and probably will continue to do it maybe outside of the realm of some situations going on now. But it can be done if it's done right. And I did not have the support of the board at that time. I was venturing as a District 2, brand new, wanting to make sure that something was going on positive within the confines of District 2 economically. And if I can help you, I certainly will, if that's okay, Mr. Chairman, to meet with you and he and talk about it and get my same names of people I had involved. Started with 4 women.
Okay.
And it takes a woman to make it happen. And it takes a good woman to make it happen.
Yes, ma'am.
And one who's interested. Not saying that you can't. I'm not saying that at all. But some people do not respect the avenue of the strength that some women have, or resent the fact that women are strong and can make things happen. So I'm willing to work with you if that's possible.
It's absolutely possible. You have my full collaboration, not just from me, but I can speak for the board as well.
I can't even hear what you're saying, sir.
I can speak for the board as well. You have my full collaboration.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
I was successful with it.
Absolutely. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you. Thank you for your dedication to this and your presentation. It is very ambitious and thorough. I love that you said it was all community feedback.
Yes, ma'am.
Because we represent the community. And, you know, a lot of times when things come to us, it feels pre-baked. And I love it when it comes from the community. There are a couple things that really strike me as extra positive.
Okay.
I really am glad to see the focus on strengthening connections with towns. I think a lot of times we're so Charlotte-centric
Yes.
that we forget the 6 towns. So I'm real thankful for that. Anything that promotes partnerships and working together, I see as very healthy. I'm so glad that you said you included the chambers, because we have the Lake Norman Chamber, and then we have the Business Alliance. And, you know, my experience, and it's a long time ago, but I feel like it's the same now. You're in these meetings with a lot of winners, and winners keep becoming winners, like winners take all. And this board is interested in creating more winners. And this is a big part of that. And it starts with small businesses. And I like what I think it was Commissioner Dunlap said about the smaller businesses, the street vendors, but they have to follow the rules. They can't just create their own rules. And, helping micro businesses learn what the rules are, follow the rules, so that they can become successful and not causing problems. And so another partnership beyond the chambers, and I don't know how we do that except to put pressure on the chambers, because when you go to a chamber event, it's a whole bunch of giant corporations. It's not the small businesses. So how do we work together to facilitate the Business Alliance and the Lake Norman Chamber to include more small businesses? I think we can do that, ask them for that. There's a lot here that's positive, and how can we help to make these things come true? Because it is a priority. It is very important to this board, and just thank you for your work. And we really need to push, because small businesses, big businesses just keep taking everything. And the end. Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner Rodriguez-McTaggart.
All right, before we get to our next speaker here, we'll take a break on Live Impact News. Back in 2 minutes with one of the many feeds that we've been watching around our area and beyond. Folks, welcome back to Live Impact News. I'm Vanessa Rufus. We've got our 3-box queued up here. We've got the Mecklenburg County Commissioners meeting that is still underway here in Charlotte, North Carolina. You'll see that in the main box, but also as we look elsewhere in the nation, activity still on the U.S. Senate floor, and we're also seeing folks awaiting an election kickoff night for Governor Pritzker in Illinois as we see the primary in the spotlight there in Illinois tonight. Governor Pritzker will be asking voters there in Illinois for a third term in office, and we're also seeing multiple Republican candidates trying to get that opportunity to challenge him. Let's listen in right now to the Mecklenburg Commissioners meeting.
Typically, we're always thinking about the bigs, and to Commissioner Powell's point, that's not the way it works. Without small businesses, our economy would tank. That happens at the macro level and the micro level.
Yes, sir.
So, I just wanted to make sure that we lifted that up. We have to know, right? You, and as we're new to this, you have to know you are our advisor. So you have to come to us with whatever you're hearing, what we don't know, what our blind spots are. so that we can help support the small businesses that are here. I think Commissioner Leek raised something that was really important. Her Small Business Consortium did generate, and does generate, a tremendous amount of interest, where I think it's an opportunity to collect a tremendous amount of data from those businesses that are built in, that attend those meetings. So I did want to put that on your radar as well. And
You have to work at it.
and so I would just leave it at that. But certainly, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your sacrifice, and again for lending your time and talent to this really important effort. We support you 100%. I want to thank Dr. Johnson and her team. John, I see you up there as well, man. You're everywhere. But, just thank you to the whole OED team as well for the support. Look, stand up, OED. Come on. All you guys. The final piece I do want to say, because the Alliance has been referenced, and typically they are, known for these larger organizations that have to contribute and pay. I will tell you, Lucia Zapata-Griffith is somebody who has been focused on making sure small businesses have an opportunity to participate with the Alliance, and there is a arm for smaller businesses. So we'll get an update. I'll make sure we get an update on that, but that's something that I've talked to Robert McCutcheon about and their board chair many times. So we need to just get more information around what they're doing as well. But thank you again, Mr. Nixon. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Nixon. Well done. Mr. Chair, to that earlier point that you made, I do want to call to the board's attention that myself, Dr. Leslie Johnson, representatives from the Office of Economic Development met with the Regional Alliance to talk about small businesses just last week. There is an initiative that we're working on jointly in conjunction with the city as well. It too is just getting started, but they have expanded their focus beyond just the larger businesses as it's been described here, but also focus on the small businesses as well. Really excited about that opportunity. For the second item under my manager's report, Deputy County Manager Michelle Atree is going to present that item. This is pertaining to the Tax Administration Optimization Project. This is for the board to receive as information. We're not.
All right, and before we get to this next item on the agenda, we'll take another break here on Live Impact News. We'll see you in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Live Impact News. I'm Vanessa Rufus. We'll turn back to the Mecklenburg County Commissioners meeting. They've moved on to the next item on the agenda, so we'll go ahead and check in with that. They were just talking about small business initiatives, so it looks like the next item we've got could pertain to Architectural Selection Committee, but let's listen in to see.
Team dynamics, employee engagement, and work-life balance, and the work environment, including work ethic and productivity. Additionally, benchmarking against other counties provided external insights. The study commenced in October of 2024. However, the work was not isolated to BPM and EPMO alone. A cross-functional project team was formed that also included the county assessor, the interim tax collector, human resource director, budget director, and the director of strategy and innovation. Other offices were also consulted, except, for example, the communications office, PI. The study began with the discovery or an evaluation of the as-is state. Next, organizational alignment was evaluated, looking at people, processes, and systems, all leading to a final recommendation. 6 options were evaluated. These included 1A, no change, where OTC and CAO would continue to operate as separate entities. Option 1B was to rebrand, where OTC and CAO maintain separate operations, but the county rebrands to create kind of a unified public entity. Option 2A, roll up, where OTC and CAO merge under a new leadership position, but retain their existing operational structures. 2B, combine, where OTC and CAO consolidate under one single department, with all divisions reporting to one department director. Option 2C was to realign, where supporting services are consolidated across both offices, creating shared systems while maintaining distinct operational divisions. And lastly, restructure, where divisions are reorganized by function. Using the insights gained from the methodology followed, the Business Process Management Office concluded that combine, or 2B, approach offers the optimal path moving forward by consolidating the 2 offices under a single department director. Additionally, the cultural assessment suggested the 2 departments are compatible at the department level, further supporting the feasibility of this approach. By consolidating the 2 offices under a single department director, option 2B lays the groundwork for enhanced collaboration and cohesion. This option also minimizes disruption by maintaining operations the same initially and provides a practical starting point with the flexibility to evolve toward more ambitious configurations as the organization gains experience and insights over time. And I can emphatically say, in my short time, well, actually it's been almost 7 months now, but in working with these 2 offices, they're both really well run. So this isn't being done because anything is broken. So we're in a good starting point, and I think we also have 2 willing directors who want to work together to build a much stronger service for the community. The timeline aims to achieve option 2B with the adoption of the FY27 budget. And this slide shows an effective July 1, 2026 implementation date. To get there, following this presentation today, we plan to notify the city, towns, and public of the impending merger of the 2 offices. And this communication will continue moving forward. The project team has been working closely with PI on an effective communication plan and strategy. In April, we will plan to come back to you, the board, to make an appointment of a new tax administration director. And in May, we will recruit 2 new deputy positions so that by July 1st, all key leadership positions are in place as we kick off not only a new fiscal year, but also enter into a reevaluation year. I do want to take this opportunity to thank some of the folks here today. If you could stand up, the BPM office, EPMO, OTC, CAO, HR, OMB, OSI, and PI for their commitment and efforts toward this important project. This concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you. I'm going to start with Commissioner Griffin, then go to Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell, and Commissioner Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Attridge, I'm trying to follow the slides. One of them, discovery was first in terms of as-is state, and then the future state. And I got things like rebranding, okay? I got the rebranding piece. But as you talk about efficiencies and other things, can you be just a little bit more clear about where we are and where you hope to be once you finish with this process?
Sure. So
we always want to be. I only have 3 minutes on me. We always want to be more efficient, and I got that, and hopefully, certainly, I understand that's the end result. But where are we, and where do we want to be, if that's possible at this particular point?
Sure. So what I can say emphatically is, like I said, both departments run really well. The study also really didn't show much duplication in services. There is a separation that you want to keep between the assessment and the collection piece, but there are places where they very much integrate with each other, right? Information from assessments feeds into tax collections, vice versa, right? There's information flow. So we do believe there's room for efficiencies where, in fact, a lot of this has already started. The groups have already began meeting and working together. I know Lisa has shared many efficiencies that have already been gained that they've identified just for working together and learning how your work impacts the other office. And so we believe over time we will find even greater efficiencies to streamline services.
And when you make that final presentation, if you can, here's where we were, here's where we are.
Absolutely.
Here's where we'd like to be.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If it's not broke, why are we fixing it? Before I give you a chance to answer, because I don't want to run out of time, my understanding that the separation between creating bills and collecting bills is like good audit control. And like, why are we trying to, if there's not much duplication, I just really have an unreadiness about this, and I just don't understand why we're trying to fix something that's not broken.
Sure. So I can, I'll speak to this from two perspectives. One, having overseen both of these functions myself, having one department that had both the tax collection and assessment office under one department, there were much strong collaboration points. There are still separation of duties that we'll have to maintain in place. We won't break those. Those things have to continue. But we do believe that working together and really having those dialogue, more direct dialogue under one leadership, you can point to places where the work intersects, and perhaps there's more efficient ways to do things. I'll also perhaps either Charles or Chris want to chime in. You're welcome to chime in on that, but that's sort of what I see.
Okay. All right. So we have we're not voting. This is a county manager decision.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
One of the things I'll add to Deputy County Manager's treaty response, and these are conversations I've had with both Ken and Jaleesa, is from the residents' perspective, they often get confused in terms of the two operations. Obviously, we're closer to it, so we know the difference between the two operations. But when it comes to, should I go to OTC, the tax clerk's office, or the assessor's office, it oftentimes leads to some confusion on their behalf. And by centralizing the two, that will help simplify the experience that they have, because we can streamline and enhance efficiencies associated with that operation. Okay.
I just think it's interesting that a previous county manager thought it best to separate, and so it just seems weird if that's been working well, why we're doing this. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Powell.
Thank you. So I really want to talk about well, while I'm talking, I'm thinking of cultural assessment and some of what Commissioner Rodriguez-McDowell said. So if a former county manager thought it was a good idea to separate them, I wish I knew that rationale of why he thought it was good to separate them. And I'm going to say all my questions so that I get them out before 3 minutes. But one of my saddest days ever in healthcare was when industrial engineers gave recommendations without input from employees. And so while they walked around studying us, they didn't ask us any questions. And that's why, I don't know what cultural assessment is. Were you interviewing employees about, what did they think? Is this the best school of government practice to marry them up? I see that positions would be added. Would any be eliminated? It seems that we're doing really well. Like you're saying the efficiencies are good. Will this make it more efficient, or could it potentially make it less efficient? And does it stray away from good audit control?
Yes.
You know, like we don't want to stray away from good audit control. So these are the questions in my mind. When you talk about culture, I want to make sure that employees were involved and their voices were heard, whether it was anonymous or however you did it. Like I just really want I know it's the manager's decision, but I think that's really important to make sure that you're talking to the employees. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening. We absolutely talked with the employees.
Just for
we
clarity.
did a cultural.
Hold on, Charles, for you, just for clarity, because I know it's been mentioned about the previous.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Speaking the mic.
Just for clarity, regarding the manager that made that decision, it wasn't my predecessor. This decision was made some time back, and Ken can come down and speak to that, or Jaleesa, in terms of why that decision was made. It predates me and my predecessor. This decision was initiated under the leadership of my former county manager. Just want to clear that and connect those dots for those.
Was it Harry or Dina?
Harry.
Well, in terms of Fox, yes, Fox created County Manager Fox, but this project was initiated during the tenure of Dina Diorio serving as manager.
Thank you.
Okay. We have the details when we spoke with employees. We did speak with all the employees. We spoke with several of them, and it was a consensus that even though there were two cultures, they weren't that different, but the employees supported, once we spoke with them, the employees supported the idea of merging the two departments. And we have information.
All right, folks, we'll take another break here on Live Impact News. As you can see, we've got some activity happening in our 3-box other than the Mecklenburg County Commissioner's Office. So we may return with some of the other feeds that we've been watching around the nation. So stick with us. We'll see you in 2. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Live Impact News. We are going to turn to a live feed coming to us out of Chicago, where we've got a primary night event for Governor Pritzker, asking voters for a third term in office as Illinois governor. Polls just closed there on primary night in Illinois, and the speakers have just started taking the podium. So let's listen in for a bit.
Listen, this is serious. The Republican vision for our state would make an even bigger mess than the one JD just cleaned up. It's a vision that would lower the minimum wage, that would take away a woman's right to choose, and double down on the same policies that are right now making life too expensive for Illinoisans. It would put their radical agenda ahead of what Illinois families need. But JB and I, we believe in a very different way forward. Lower costs, good jobs, safe streets, thriving neighborhoods, roads and bridges union-made that connect communities, affordable education, clean and affordable energy. That's the future that JB and I believe in. That's the future that our governor is going to keep building. That's why I am so proud to stand on this stage tonight and introduce to you a man who stands with us, a man who always delivers for us, a man who will always fight his heart out for each and every one of us. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, our governor, J.B. Pritzker.
Let's give it up one more time for our next Lieutenant Governor, Christian Mitchell. Illinois, thank you. Thank you for your trust and your faith in me to carry out our agenda and carry it forward as your Democratic nominee for governor. Every day I walk into this fight, I know I'm able to do so because of my brilliant, tireless, and endlessly patient wife, the First Lady of Illinois, M.K. Pritzker. She has sacrificed more than anyone will ever know and reminded me in moments of doubt exactly why we do this. Our children, Teddy and Donnie, have grown up watching their parents pour everything into this job, and if the only lesson they ever take from it is that public service is a calling worth answering, then we've done something right. Now, this election night is still young, and it's too early to know the results of the most competitive races, but I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge and celebrate my dear friend and partner in governance, Juliana Stratton. I was proud to run with her in our last two elections, proud to serve alongside her for the last 7 years, and proud to endorse her U.S. Senate campaign. She is an outstanding, kind, and genuine person who loves this state with all her heart. And I am grateful for her for all that we have achieved together. So give her a big round of applause. I'm also proud to have endorsed Margaret Croak for Comptroller and Tony Preckwinkle for Cook County Board President. Both of them fantastic leaders and model public servants. Our state is lucky to have them. Now, it has been a long and arduous primary season for many. But when so much is at stake, there's no time to rest. The general election begins right now. And we're headed into it with the best campaign team in the country, led by my campaign manager, Chris Shallow. And we are dedicated to making sure that every Democrat who wins our party's nomination tonight beats their Republican opponents in November. Our Democratic Party stands united behind our candidates, united for working families, united for Illinois. Friends, this is the fight of our lives. Everything we care about is under siege from Washington. Right now, grifters of corruption and selfishness, purveyors of bigotry and hatred, have taken control of the White House and the Congress. Their purpose is to make themselves and their dear leader richer, and to do it at the expense of the powerless and the most vulnerable. The carnival barker-in-chief. Oh, sorry, I meant the commander-in-thief. Says there's no federal money for health care and food assistance for families in need. But he had no trouble finding tens of millions of dollars to send masked troops with assault weapons onto the streets of Illinois to terrorize Americans. They're shooting moms in the face. They shot a nurse in the back who was peacefully protesting. A teacher's assistant was shot 5 times for honking her horn and yelling. These were all American citizens. And then something remarkable happened. Even as other states capitulated to Donald Trump, the seemingly unstoppable force of Trump's unrestrained power met the unmovable object of Illinoisans' courage. All over the state, neighbors protected neighbors from ICE. Suburban moms blew their whistles to warn people when masked federal agents in unmarked cars came into their blocks. Parishioners formed human chains around churches so immigrants could worship. People volunteered to be rapid responders where neighborhoods were under threat. Everyday folks took out their cell phones and filmed the attacks and posted them online so the nation could see what was taking place in our cities in Illinois. Now, I created the nation's first accountability commission to gather the evidence of wrongdoing in Illinois by ICE so we can hold them criminally and civilly liable. When Trump tried to federalize our Illinois National Guard to disrupt our state, our amazing Democratic Attorney General Kwame Raoul, he took them to court and he stopped Trump's military invasion of Illinois. Democrats in the General Assembly passed laws to keep ICE out of our schools and courtrooms and hospitals. And together we exposed the lies of Kristi Noem and Stephen Miller and Tom Homan and Greg Bovino. And we made the Trump administration's violence and corruption impossible for the nation to ignore. For working families, the Trump presidency has been an unmitigated disaster. Oil prices are up. Measles is back. Farms are folding. Tariffs have raised the price of groceries and cars, and Illinoisans have been sent abroad to fight another Middle East war. In response, what is the Illinois Republican Party doing to help everyday people? Nothing. Nothing. They want to roll out the red carpet for Donald Trump and his failed policies. Not once have they lifted a finger when Trump is closing rural hospitals or taking food away from poor children. When Trump took child care and education funding away from working families, Illinois Republicans cheered him on. While Illinois Democrats passed a child tax credit and cut taxes on working families, Republicans voted against it. When Democrats raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour, not a single Republican voted for it. At a time when Illinois Democrats are working to lower the cost of living and raise wages, Illinois Republicans are offering voters a destructive alliance of cowardly doom grifters who recklessly embrace ruin. Folks, this is the fight of our future. So to the voters of Illinois, if you give Christian Mitchell and me the privilege of leading this state for the next 4 years, we will adopt a 21st century housing plan that brings home ownership within reach for the next generation. We will bring down electric bills by making Illinois the standard bearer for nuclear and renewable energy production. We will lower the cost of health care by cutting prescription drug costs like we have and continuing to eliminate bills for unexpected health emergencies. We will make Illinois the heart of American innovation in quantum technology. We will accelerate economic growth and job creation by continuing to attract new businesses to our state. We will raise wages while building the skilled workforce of the future. Now, Illinois has a proud legacy as the land of Lincoln and the home state of Barack Obama. The first state to ratify the 13th Amendment ending slavery. We were the first state, we're also the first state to ratify the 19th Amendment establishing the right to vote for all women. The state that became a safe haven for women seeking to exercise their right to reproduce.
All right, folks, if the governor of Illinois is still speaking, when we come back from our quick break here on Live Impact, we will return with that feed. Otherwise, we've got a few others we're keeping an eye on. We'll see you in 2 minutes. All right, folks, welcome back to Live Impact News. We will turn back to Chicago, Illinois, this live feed of Governor J.D. Pritzker with an election night event. He's speaking right now. Keep in mind, it is primary night in Illinois. And we know on the Republican ticket, so he's obviously the Democrat and incumbent, but the Republican ticket, several challengers vying to be his challenger come November. Let's listen in.
We fight for our future. So I have just one question for you, Illinois. Are you ready for the fight? Are you ready for the fight? I am too. Let's go get them. Thank you all very much.
All right, folks, and it looks like that wrapped up rather quickly. After our return from the break, we'll turn back to the Mecklenburg County Commissioners meeting underway here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Commissioners still on the Tax Administration Optimization Project item. Let's listen in.
Or put it to bed is this idea of conflict. Is there a conflict, or how do you speak to this idea of a conflict with the combining of the offices?
Sure. So we'll still want to make sure that we have strong internal controls. For example, a person doing the assessment won't be the person doing the collection, right? Those are functions that are always going to be different no matter where they're located. So we will continue to make sure the right internal controls are in place so that there's not one person that can do a process from beginning to end. And you want that in any line of your business. So that will continue.
And so, and if I heard you right, 98 other counties, or now with Buncombe, it'll be 99 other counties have it this way, or no?
We don't think it's 99.
I think it's somewhere in the 80s.
80s.
Okay, so
Still
80s, but a lot of our peer counties leverage this same sort of model. Is that fair?
That's fair to say, yes.
Okay. Well, I think, again, I appreciate the manager coming forward to help us gain efficiency, but I do think that we should always keep in the back of our mind the concerns that the board has and maybe the public would have as well. So, Lisa.
Sure, thank you. I wanted to add 2 points. The latter point that you made about controls. We already have that even within the Office of the Tax Collector, because we have individuals collecting and then handing off the funds, the revenue, to financial folks. So we have separation of duties already. That's something that I'm very mindful of going into this consolidation, and Ken and I have talked about. We've also invited audit to be part of the project team. Michelle mentioned many departments. Internal audit was one to look at that. And then the other comment is on employees. Were employees polled for this? There was a cultural assessment, and it was a confidential survey. I'm not certain that there was a particular question that says, do you vote for this or not? I don't think that would have been part of fruitful to the project. What I can say is that on both sides, there are employees who are concerned with change, as in any other process, right? People are a little hesitant with change, and others who embrace this because they're looking at the opportunity for synergies. And as we go into this project, that's what I'm looking for, is to create synergy so that we do improve. And it's been stated by Michelle, but I'll state it myself, that both offices will work well. We work well together today, and if we do consolidate, we will continue to work well, because at the end of the day, it is service delivery to our customers, the residents of Mecklenburg County.
Thank you. I had two last things. One is...
All right, and before we continue on with the Mecklenburg Commissioners meeting, we'll take another break here. We'll see you in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Live Impact News. We'll turn back to the Mecklenburg County Commissioners meeting underway right now in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Employees from the initiation of this project. I myself met with both offices to hear their concerns, receive their comments, ensure that they're informed of each step all the way throughout this project. When it was handoff to Deputy County Manager Treed, as she mentioned, she too followed suit with that. So I feel comfortable saying that HR would agree that in terms of employee engagement, no surprises, them understanding clearly what's going on and not being concerned about any jobs being eliminated was managed properly throughout the duration of this project to date. Thank you for your feedback. I really appreciate that. Thank you. All right, the last and final item on my manager's report. Already clapping. One of the things I enjoy most as county manager is having the opportunity to recognize the incredible work being done by employees across this entire county. As you know, the County Manager's Above and Beyond at Work Award is presented 3 times a year to an employee who consistently goes the extra mile in service to their colleagues and to our community. All full-time and regular part-time county employees are eligible for this recognition, including employees from the Sheriff's Office. Recipients are nominated by their peers or supervisors, and a panel of community partners reviews those nominations using criteria such as job performance, customer service, leadership, reliability, innovation, and initiative. In other words, myself and members of our executive team, we have nothing to do who was identified and recommended to receive this recognition. This quarter's recipient of the Above and Beyond at Work Award is no stranger to you. It is Mike Hedspeth. Mike, as you're aware, is an IT support technician with our IT department. Thank you guys for being here as well to support him. He was nominated by Carly Godfrey, who is the Deputy Director of the Office of Strategy and Innovation, who shared how Mike has become an invaluable partner to teams across the entire organization. In his role, Mike supports the County Manager's Office, the executive team, you, the commission, and departments across the organization with their technology needs. What sets him apart is his ability to anticipate problems before they actually happen. I think he has a crystal ball that he keeps with. For example, ahead of a major update to county phones, Mike proactively reached out to the manager's office to make sure there would be no disruption to services, and there was not. That kind of foresight helps keep our operations running smoothly. Each month, he supports various executive team meetings, county commissioner meetings, and community meetings, often checking in with presenters ahead of time and ensuring backup solutions are ready if technology issues arise. And if you watch him, you just see him behind the scenes, doing the good work, making sure everything is working properly, and get out of your way. Anyone who has ever had technology fail right before an important meeting know just how valuable someone like Mike is. Thankfully, he too is a gift. He is usually one step ahead of the problem. Mike has earned the trust of leaders across the entire organization because of his responsiveness, dependable, and committed. He's committed to finding solutions. Even in challenging situations, he approaches his work with professionalism and patience. And I underscore patience. He is extremely patient with those of us who are not experts in technology. You don't take that lightly, Mike. And he doesn't leave until the issue is resolved. His work behind the scenes enables hundreds of employees to do their jobs effectively in services to our residents. And moments like this remind me of something that I often say to you every time I get the opportunity. You heard me say it. We have the most talented workforce in the nation.
All right, folks, and we're going to take another break here on Live Impact. We'll return with either this feed or some of our headlines that we're watching around the area in just 2 minutes. All right, welcome back to Live Impact News. We'll turn back to the Mecklenburg County Commissioners meeting. It looks like they are essentially doing an honoring of I don't want to say Employee of the Month. It's actually called the Above and Beyond at Work Award winner, but looks like they're still honoring this gentleman. Let's listen in.
On the Microsoft Teams on my telephone, and I don't even know how to do it. Like, I'm thinking I've never done this. And then you're so calm. In a matter of like 60 seconds, I have it. I am seeing Janie Harper on my telephone. And you're just amazing. And I think one of your gifts is your calmness. And your hang in there-ness, you know, like, we're going to get this solved, no problem. And if I can't do it, I have a network. You deserve this. I'm so happy for you.
Yes.
Thank you for everything that you do. And you really look nice today.
Commissioner Meyer.
You do look so nice today. How many times do you see us coming at you with this going, how do I, why does it, where do I? So, you know, I know you get it from all of us and all the staff too. So thank you for what you do. You're very patient. I still have yet to get that iPad.
Just kidding. Commissioner Dunlap.
Well, it was kind of interesting because everybody had the same comment this afternoon. He dressed up. What's going on? But I'm sure you know what you mean to me, because I used to think I was technologically savvy until I realized that I was nowhere near it. But you have been a tremendous help ever since you've been serving us, and I couldn't think of a better person to recognize. And we've recognized a lot of people, and tonight to finally recognize you.
Yeah.
It's a long time coming, because you certainly deserved it a long time before now.
Yeah.
We didn't have anything to do with it, but we are all certainly glad that you received in this acknowledgement. Thank you so much for all you do.
Commissioner Leek.
I'm excited more than the rest of you sitting here. Thank you.
All right, some issues with that feed there. We apologize, but great time to take another break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Hopefully, we'll get the feed working again. All right, folks, welcome back to Live Impact News. In honor of our Hornets playing right now, the Miami Heat, we have our Nick Carboni's one-on-one with Moussa Diabate, Moose, as fans like to call him. Let's take a listen.
The way you have played, the way this team has played since January, what is the statement the Hornets are making to the rest of the NBA right now?
Man, just, that we here. I think at that point it's no more of a if or oh yeah, they're just having a hot streak. I think that like teams and people in general having an understanding that the Hornets are for real. That thing they definitely see us as a threat, and no more of that oh yeah, like they're being lucky or anything like that. Obviously we have a great coach, and that's a foundation that we've been building since last year really. Obviously injuries is always not helping, but now that everything is coming together, you can definitely see the result.
Health has helped, defense has helped, and you were the center literally of that defense. What is the mentality this team has now about defense and how it can propel you guys to win?
Right. Really just we've been working on it all summer, really just understanding like what our strengths are. Obviously, me being a little smaller center in that sense, being more versatile, being more active. I think I have a better reaction on timings and stuff like that. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just under this understanding of the team and the identity we want to have, right? We want to play with pace, we want to be physical. All those things just coming in together, just an effort. I mean, I think at the end of the day, just give the result that we have defensively.
All right, this is the hottest item at the fan shop right now. What do you think of the moose antlers? I won't ask you to put it on unless you want to. You don't have to mess up the hair.
Right.
What do you think of these?
I mean, it's great. Obviously, it's simple, very affordable. Everybody could get it. And I mean, I think it's those little fun things that as kids, you always gonna remember, oh yeah, I used to wear those antlers and stuff. So I feel like he's gonna hit home at some point.
Do you remember the first time you heard the crowd go moose, and what did you think?
I mean, I don't remember exactly the first day that happened, but yeah, I mean, it just happened, and I mean, it was funny. It was very funny because I want to give a shout out to my college roommate, Will Cheddar, because he's the first one that came up with it. I remember we're in the room, and I just remember him talking about the moose is loose, the moose, the moose. And yeah, that's where it started. Then you had fans that started picking it back up. I can't remember his name, but one of the fans that actually made a song about it that was also
At Michigan,
cool.
or
no, that was
here?
it. Yeah, with the
Okay.
Hornets. So it just became this little thing or whatever. So yeah, I mean it's great.
Did you like the nickname Moose at first, or did it grow on you?
I mean, like in general, when I was younger, so Musa.
Yeah.
If you take out the A at the end, it's Moose.
Yeah.
So like everybody calls me Moose. Like at the end of the day, if you know me and I'm close, like, oh yeah, it's Moose. But like now when you translate it in English, it's like moose, like the animal. So it was just a funny, wordplay right there. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't change anything to me. It's like calling me my name, really.
So much talk in the preseason. Who would be the Hornets center?
Right.
Turns out the answer was there the whole time in number 14, Moussa Diabate. Have you found yourself getting recognized more? I mean, you're really becoming a hit in Charlotte.
I mean, yeah, for sure. I haven't really been out like that, like just like, walking outside or whatever. But yeah, I mean, when I walk into my building, for sure, people want to talk, ask me questions and everything. And I mean, just the fans in general, they're very cool in Charlotte, very chill. So, they see me, they'll ask for pictures or whatever.
Let's take it back a little bit. What was life like? Are you oldest of 5? Growing up in Paris?
I got 6 little sisters, but on my mom's side, I have 3.
Yeah. And you're the oldest?
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
How did being the oldest of that many siblings shape who you are today?
Man, I mean,
All right, and folks, we will wrap things up in just a few moments here on Live Impact News. If it's important to you to know, we know it's a lot of folks care. Charlotte Hornets are leading the Miami Heat by 8 right now with just seconds left in the third quarter. So yes, rock on, Hornets. We've got great lineup for you coming up tonight here on WCNC Plus. In just a few moments, we've got the business of March Madness, which we know is getting underway, followed by Locked On Panthers, Parent Squad, and then stay tuned for the news at 11 here on WCNC Plus. Good night, y'all, and thanks so much for being with us. Hope you have a great evening. And once again, I'll see you again for the news at 11.